and welcome to Yoga After Leg Day. This will just be some nice stretches through the legs and through the hips. So if you've been working especially hard in your lower body today, then this would be a great kind of cool down after that. So we're going to start today just by lying on our backs and hugging your knees into your chest, tucking your chin very gently so you get some length in your spine, closing down your eyes. And then just taking a moment to settle in. If you're coming straight out of your workout, then take these few moments just to find your breath again. Maybe taking some bigger breaths in through your nose and out of your mouth. And just allowing your mind to settle. Allowing your body to settle. And just kind of creating space for everything to come down, to relax, to rest. Feel free to take another big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth if that feels nice. And you can even kind of wiggle your knees side to side. That could feel really good on the hips and the lower back. Okay. And if you're really out of breath, it might be a good idea just to pause this video and stay here for a little bit longer until you feel like you've got your breath back. Otherwise, you can gently find your way up. To move nice and slowly. There's a tendency for head rushes at this stage. Okay, so move nice and slowly. And then you're just going to support yourself on your hands behind your back. Your knees will be bent. And you're going to hook your right ankle just over the left knee. Okay, so depending on how much movement and mobility you have in your hips, you can choose to have that left foot further forward. Or you can tuck it in a bit closer. Okay, and then just walking your hands gently towards the right leg. Until you feel a nice openness, a nice stretch through the right hip. Okay, so do keep these right toes pointing up. And there's a gentle press away with the right knee just to aid that openness. Take a few breaths here, just enjoying this stretch. It's kind of nice to rock and roll side to side as well. And then maybe getting a little bit deeper if and when that feels right. And take one more breath here. And then you can release. Okay, so soften both feet to the floor and just gently rock your knees from side to side. And then we'll move to the other side. So starting with the right foot quite far out in front of you, then you can hook that left foot over the right knee. And then you can walk the right foot forward towards you, okay? And then the hands perhaps as well will come forward just until you get to your kind of sweet spot. And again, take movement if that feels good. Go deeper as and when that feels good. You should just have a nice, gentle feeling of release through the left hip. One more breath. Okay, and then scooting that right foot forward, hands go back, and then release. I'm just going to roll onto our sides now so you can find your way onto an all fours position. And then from this all fours position, just send your right foot out behind you and gently press into the heel. So you get a tiny little stretch through the back of the right leg. Just a gentle stretch to begin with, pushing that heel away. Okay, and then the right foot is going to come between your hands, maybe to the outside of your hands a little bit, whatever's most comfortable. Okay, taking care to make sure that the right knee is stacked over the ankle or slightly behind perhaps, but you're just not dropping it out to the side. Okay, so if your hands are on the inside of the foot, do press this knee in towards the arm. Otherwise, if you have shorter calf muscles, shorter shin bones, then you can keep that hand on the outside. So we'll take a few breaths here, just making some space through the left hip flexor. One more. Okay, and then come down onto the left hand. Bring your right hand to your knee. You're just going to very gently roll yourself over onto the left hip. So now this right knee can kind of fall out to the side. And then depending on where you're feeling tightness, will depend on where you feel that movement. Okay, so maybe through the right hip, maybe the left, maybe through the abdominals as well. Okay, come back to the center, roll it out. Just some gentle movements. Gentle release through the hips. Okay, then return to center. We're going to take a half split. Just want to roll yourself back. Okay, straightening out the right leg. So you're resting on this left knee. If you don't have a lot of mobility in the hip, then feel free just to come up, keeping your chest kind of facing forward as you bend over that right leg. Pull the right toes in towards your face. And then imagining that your foot is like a windscreen wiper. You're just going to roll your foot from side to side. As you roll your foot, you can feel how this might kind of change the location and the intensity of the stretch. So if you find a spot that feels really good, feel free to just hang out there and take a few breaths. And then we'll roll back forward into that lunge. Okay, release the right foot back behind you. We'll move to the other side, so extend the left foot out behind you and take a gentle stretch. So press into the left heel. And then we'll scoot it forward, coming into our low lunge. Okay, so again, taking care to align the knee over the ankle. And then in this way, we make sure that the stretch goes into the back of the thigh, not into the hip just yet. And then also into the right hip flexor. So a few breaths here. Try to keep your chest lifted. There's a tendency for people to kind of collapse. So try to keep your chest lifted and long. Take nice deep breaths. And find some softness in your face and your jaw. One more breath. Okay, and then we'll move the weight into the right hand. Maybe scoot the left knee out a little bit further to the side if you would like. Left hand to the left knee. Okay, and then we'll just drop onto the right hip. So you might have a bit more movement on one side than the other. So today for some reason I have almost no rotational movement in my hips on this side. Okay, so just work with whatever you've got, letting this left knee kind of fall a little bit out to the side. And then you can rock and roll just between these two. Okay, then we'll work our way back into that half split. So straightening through the left leg, pulling the toes in towards your face. Do keep your chest lifted and long. If you're sitting up here and you're struggling with your balance, just wiggle that left foot a little bit out to the side. Okay, so you have a kind of wider base to work with. Okay, so you want to get the sensation of gently tugging the left hip back. As you do, you can feel that stretch intensify. And then we're going to windscreen wiper the left foot from side to side. And if you find a nice sweet spot, just stay there and enjoy it. Okay, and then rolling back into that low lunge, and wiggling yourself back onto all fours. Okay, so from here, we're gonna sit back on our heels and we're gonna take a single-legged forward fold in one of two ways. So the first option is for you to take a kind of half Virasana with the leg. So to do this, you'll keep the left knee bent, peel the calf muscle out from underneath, and then wiggle the left heel out to the side. And then you're gonna straighten out through the right leg. Okay, so you're kind of sitting on your bum. So the left knee is drawn in as well. And in this way, you're kind of opening up through the front of the left thigh, as well as stretching through the back of the right foot. This is super uncomfortable for you. If you're feeling any kind of extensive pain through that left knee, then you're gonna just bring the left foot into the inner right thigh instead, okay? And then forward fold from there. So just choose where you wanna be here. Totally your choice. If you are in this half Virasana position, notice that you start to tilt yourself over to the side and press down through that left hip. Okay, bring your fingertips to the floor, right toe peels up, and then you can fold yourself forward. And then you'll just stop here wherever you feel an opening. Perhaps through the left thigh. If you're really tight in your quad, you might feel it first through there, and actually this just might be enough for you. Otherwise, maybe also a little bit through the back of the right leg as well. So just stop wherever you feel some kind of release, some kind of nice yummy stretch. And then we'll be here for a few breaths. Use every breath, although we look like we're not really moving here, we're using each breath. So we'll breathe in and find a little bit more extension through the spine, coming up out of your hips. And then as you breathe out, you have this feeling of dragging your chest forward so that you very slowly pull your belly button down towards your thighs. And then just breath by breath, micromillimeter by micromillimeter, you can make a tiny bit more space. One more breath. And then you can find your way up. Okay, so we'll change sides. You can release that left leg. Might feel a bit sticky in the knee. That's okay. You can give your knees a little shake. Okay, move to the other side. So either taking that half Virasana with the leg behind or hooking the right foot into the inner left thigh. Your choice. But again, if you have kind of bigger calf muscles, then just wiggle that out the way, and then the right foot is kind of out to the side. Left knee is in, okay? So again, just make sure that you are pressing down through the right hip so you're not just tipping over. Peel the left toes up towards the sky. Fingertips to the floor. And then you'll just scoot yourself forward just as much as you'll go. And noticing here the differences from one side to the other. So you might start to feel this in a different location or to a different intensity than the other side. And neither is right or wrong, it just means that you have a little bit of an imbalance in where you're holding tension and tightness in your body. So whatever you're working with on either side, the same principle applies. Just breathe in, get some length, make some space, breathe out, move into that space that you create, micromillimeter by micromillimeter, breath by breath, moment by moment, just nice and slow. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll release. Okay, get that foot out in front of you. You can give your knees a little shake side to side, not side to side, up and down. That feels good. Okay, bring your soles of your feet together now in front of you, and depending on your hips, you can choose to have them further away, bring them closer in, wherever you want to be. Okay, and then just move the flesh out from underneath your sit bones, so you're kind of sitting forward in your hips, and then we're just going to let the hands just loosely sit on the feet or onto the ankles. There's a tendency to want to pull the feet open, and I do like that. But often if you've been working your legs really hard and you're dealing with a lot of tension and tightness in the legs, it's not always a good idea to push it too far. So we'll just rest the hands there and then take that big breath in, extending, coming out of your hips, lots of length in your spine. Then as you breathe out, you'll soften forward. Okay. And as you do this, you'll get this natural opening of the knees down and a bit of a gentle release through the inner thighs. Breathe in and make space. Breathe out, settle into that space. Try to keep the chest lifted. You might feel like just collapsing yourself down, which is also a pose, but not for this class. For this class, we want to try and keep the length in our spine. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Okay, and then you can release. So we're going to settle back into Shavasana from here. If this feels really nice for you, then stay like this with your knees open. You can even take some blocks and put blocks underneath your knees to support you a little bit. That can feel really nice. But wherever you are, you're just going to roll yourself back, coming to lie on your back. And then either keeping the knees splayed out if you would like, or just pressing the feet away from you and allowing them to fall out to the sides. You get still an external rotation in the hips, but just a bit more gentle. Bring your hands by your sides with your palms facing up, tuck your chin. And hopefully by now your breath has settled. And take a big breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And allow for this sense of heaviness to come over you. Allow for a weightiness to arrive in your legs and in your hips. If you're feeling any kind of sensations there, any kind of residual tightness, just use your breath to go in there, scoop it all up, and release it. Until eventually you can feel like your whole body is settling in, settling down. Just soaking up all the goodness, all the activations, mobility work, everything that you've done today. Just let it all settle into your body now. Okay, I'm returning your awareness back to the room. You can gently wiggle through your fingers and toes a little bit. Maybe let your breath deepen a little bit. And then very slowly, just find your way onto your side. And then from here, press yourself up to seated. You may gather your hands to your heart center if you would like. Just a gentle acknowledgement of your commitment to your health. A moment to feel thankful for your body, for your strength, for your mobility. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you're feeling really good now. If you like this video, please do go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe so you can get more videos. I release one a month. Okay, have a good day.